Houston Real Estate Radio.
Thanks for tuning in to Houston Real Estate Radio this Sunday. I'm here in the RREA.com studio with my co-host, James Brown. We have some news to share with you as Congress returns to Washington. There's a lot of unfinished business going on. One of those items is a housing issue that could affect almost a quarter of all real estate transactions. You've probably heard about it. It's the expiration of the mortgage forgiveness tax relief. If you haven't heard about it, you want to listen to this. If you've sold a short sale or you've been involved in a foreclosure, you definitely want to listen to this. And if you're facing either of those, you want to know about this.
That's right. That's right. You know, everybody's been talking about the doomsday, the fiscal cliff that's coming, you know, but if Congress doesn't act by the end of the year, both home sellers and current homeowners could face an immediate doomsday. That's an additional tax for them starting in 2013.
Yeah. There's millions of families who hold distressed properties, and they're going to face a hefty tax bill. We've really got to get something done about this.
And the problem is that 20% of current homeowners currently owe more on their mortgage than their house is worth. And that's just an unfortunate circumstance of the times that we're in.
That's a lot of people.
That's a whole lot of people. And I expect short sales and foreclosures to continue through 2014. And it's just a basic calculation from the 5-year ARMs that were issued in 2008. We haven't done those anymore, and they don't do those now to just anybody. But the ones that were issued in 2008, those people are going to start to have to reset this year and next year, and some of them aren't going to make it, and those houses are going to go into foreclosure, or if they're wise, they're going to come to an agent, seek out a real estate agent, and do a short sale.
Absolutely.
And when that happens, they're going to be faced with that huge tax hit on that phantom capital gain that they really, didn't, that income that they really didn't see.
Yeah, the foreclosure rates may be going down. I mean, not maybe, we know they're going down, but the fact of the matter is short sales and foreclosures are not going away. I mean, they've reduced drastically, but we are going to continue to see them.
At least through, like I said, 2014. Short sales have become a mainstay in my business, and I don't foresee them going away in the short run at all.
Yeah, and the housing industry doesn't need any more problems right now. We need solutions, not more problems. And no taxpayers should be asked to pay this tax on money that they've already lost it in the transaction, and now they haven't received the cash, and yet they're having to pay income on it.
Well, and that's the double punch. You get punched in the gut because you have to sell your house for less than it's worth, and then the IRS comes along and says, even though your house wasn't worth this much, you did realize this, you did enjoy this capital gain, and you now have to pay taxes on it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a capital gain, does it?
Right. If you didn't get the cash in your hand, it wasn't a capital gain.
Yeah, the mortgage forgiveness tax relief, I definitely feel like it should be extended. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely an advocate of that, and everybody within the sound of my voice who cares about that issue definitely needs to let their congressperson know, because that is an issue that might just get jumbled in with some of the other, bills and things that are passing that are going to sweep through to avoid this fiscal cliff. And I do think, in the 11th hour they will avoid the fiscal cliff, but a lot of this stuff may just get jumbled in with the rest of it and get sorted out later. And this is one of those things that you need to let your congressperson know that they need to be keeping their eye on.
Yeah, it's definitely important. It's important for so many middle-class families. I mean, that's who's affected by this.
That's right. It's a bigger chunk. Your home is your biggest investment for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're on the higher end income-wise, maybe not so much. And maybe you own a big home, but the interest you pay on it is not that big a deal to you. But the mortgage interest is huge for the small and middle income, homeowner.
Right. Something else that's that they're wanting to change is the mortgage interest deduction. Mm-hmm. I've had this debate before with people that we've had on the show. What do you think? Should we keep it? Should we get rid of it?
I think it's a good thing because it appeals to all sides. It's not just a tax cut for the rich. It's not a tax cut for the poor. Mm-hmm. It's a tax cut that everybody benefits from. And
everybody who's a homeowner.
Everybody who's a homeowner. And I do think owning a home is still very much a part of the American dream. And when you survey people, they agree. And so I think that's the kind of thing the government should be encouraging. And if mortgage interest deduction is one of those ways to entice someone to move from being a renter to a homeowner, which makes that person, helps that person to get closer to that American ideal, then I definitely think that's something the government should continue to encourage and support.
I've read online that it's going to cost $100 billion in 2014 if they get rid of this. But the fact is, it's not costing them that. It's not a cost. They're trying to do it to raise revenue.
Right.
It's not a cost, though.
Right.
It's just money they won't get.
It's not money that's coming in that they're giving back out.
Right.
It's just money they're not collecting. They're leaving in the pockets of the taxpayers where it probably belongs.
This is kind of interesting. I'm reading this online. It's actually a liberal website, but I thought this was interesting what they said. Under the current tax code, if two families both deduct $10,000 in mortgage interest paid from their taxable income, their actual tax benefit could vary greatly. A lot of people don't think about this, but for a high-income family in the 35% tax bracket, that deduction would lower their tax bill by $3,500, and for a middle-income family in the 15% tax bracket, that same $10,000 deduction results in only $1,500 in tax savings. So there is definitely a difference in what people are saving and gaining by this mortgage interest deduction, but I think that it's something that everybody can still benefit from.
Right.
Everybody who's a homeowner, and most people are homeowners.
Depending on your income, you're putting a bigger chunk of your assets into a home if you're a working class or a middle class, homeowner. So yes, that tax deduction would be larger for you.
One of the things I'm afraid of is this is just going to get tucked into a big package deal, and it's going to get passed without most people even realizing that it's being done.
That's exactly what I'm afraid of, and that's it's kind of one of those things that and it's interesting if you talk to some of your Congress people, they'll tell you. On camera sometimes that they don't read everything that comes across their desk that they end up voting for, So this is one of those things that you need to make them aware of, that's a hot button issue that they need to be looking for and they need to catch before they vote yes for something and then realize, oh, I really wasn't for that.
Right. Definitely important. And there are so many things coming up in this next session that are very important. Everybody needs to be on their toes and paying attention to what's going on because we've got a lot of tax reform in progress.
Now more than ever, because like I said, this I do think this fiscal cliff issue will be resolved prior to us going over the cliff. But I also think that a lot of stuff will be, swept, just kind of jumbled in and jumbled together and voted on and pushed through committee and after all is said and done, then they'll look back and say, oh, we didn't mean to do that. Oh, we got to undo this. And it would be better to make sure that those issues that are addressed beforehand, take the time now to make sure that you're not hurting us as a nation in the future.
That's right. And one of the great things that we have here in Texas is our Homestead Exemption.
That's right.
January 1st, if you're in a house on January 1st, you can claim that Homestead Exemption. So don't forget that. If you haven't filed that, you want to do that in the new year because you definitely want to. That can save you a few $1,000s.
A lot more than a few for some people.
Yeah,
I mean, it
depends on the price of the house, right?
Right, 7, 11, who knows how much, $1,000.
It's a very important thing. Very important.
That's right. If you're in the market to buy a house, getting closed by the end of the year would put you in for that tax exemption in January. You could submit for that in January. Otherwise, you've got to wait until 2014 to be eligible for that exemption.
That's right. Did you know we're currently at 11-year lows on housing inventory here in the Houston area?
I noticed that.
Isn't that incredible?
And it's amazing to me. I mean, I watch it happen. I've seen it unfold over the past few years. But yeah, it's definitely amazing to see.
In over a decade, it hadn't been this low. It's amazing. We went from a buyer's market with 6 months' time on the market, just sitting out there, couldn't sell a house, and now we're in a seller's market, and it just turned around so quickly. I think there's still some people who don't even realize this has happened.
And prices are going up, but they're not going up to the point where we're not at 2008 levels yet.
Right. They're creeping up.
Yeah, they're creeping up, but we're still seeing things like multiple offers, on houses. We're seeing, houses that are...
Which we didn't see last year.
No, not at all. Well, I did see last year towards the end of the year, but I definitely have seen them almost every case this year, which is really, really phenomenal. We're at 4.6 months inventory of homes for sale right now, and that's the lowest we've been since 2007 before the crisis.
And the average home prices increased 8% since last year. So we do see that. We do see the increases. I mean, it's not just an opinion. We see it from the MLS data that this is truly happening. You know, sellers want to know, are housing prices going up? You know, this is provable. It's happening.
It's happening. It's happening. It's time to sell. If you've got an inkling to sell or an inclination to sell, this is time to get your house on the market. You're going to get multiple offers. You're going to get a bidding war in some cases. And I think you're going to be happy with the result, much more happy than you would have been 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
Definitely the best winter I've ever seen to sell a house.
It's been a good winter.
October sales data was just released, and this October we sold 35% more houses in the Houston area than last October. Great.
That's not surprising at all.
Yeah. Definitely good news. All right, well, we are going to head to a commercial break, and we'll be right back here on Houston Real Estate Radio.